Hi, Steve Finn here from Finn Consulting Services, and I'm going to talk today about setting up your franchise agreement or your license agreement. So you've got a business, it's really successful, or you've got a concept and you want to expand it. You're pretty confident that this can be multiplied in lots of different places, and you want to have a lot of people share this with you and operate their own business using what you've done or what you've got. So you need to have an agreement in place that they're going to sign with you to say that they've got the rights to do that. They're going to do that in that particular location, and they're going to pay you so much money to be able to have access to do it, and you're going to give them some help with it. That's basically what's going to happen. So with this particular agreement, there's specialist lawyers in franchising and licensing who can draw these agreements up for you. And look, you need to get them done right. Some of the tips I'm going to give you here. One is you can spend an awful lot of money on getting these done. Like I'm talking towards $100,000 just for those documents. But you can also spend 10. You're probably going to spend at least 10, by the way. So you just got to know that. That's what's going to happen. But that's fine. Your first franchisee or licensee comes along, they join the first one, you get all your money back anyway, and that's in one go. So when you sell your first one or two, you generally recoup all the money you've got for a lot of the money you put in your setup, of things. But with that franchise agreement, license agreement, what you've got to understand is that you can end up having everything in there to the nth degree of everything that could possibly ever happen and possibly go wrong and what you want to protect. And it's not that it's not important, it is important. However, what you've got to do is say to yourself, and this is what I've learned from experience myself, I've just touched my mic there, but that's okay. This is what I've learned from experience myself is if someone does breach that particular small item, i.e. they got their business cards printed somewhere else where they weren't supposed to, really, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to pull out your franchise agreement and say, oh, no, it says here that you said this and that? Do you think that's the basis of a good relationship? I don't think so. I think really the better way to do it is when someone's trained in the earlier days, that it says, hey guys, when you get your business cards, we like to do it consistently because of these reasons. Here's how we do it. Here's the way that we do it. Please get it done that way. It's much better. We don't want to have to sort of come and then get you to toss them out. Now, if the time comes you have to do that, they say, I'm not going to toss them out. But it says in our franchise agreement you have to. Oh, does it? Oh, okay, well, you can toss them out. That's not going to happen. They're going to go, I don't care what it says in the franchise agreement. These were $50 cheaper and I'm not paying that other person because they don't do a good job anyway. So I'm getting them from here. Well, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? Get your lawyer involved? Go to court? Probably not. You're not. What are you going to do? So how enforceable is it anyway? So the point of what I'm saying is think about having your agreement so it's simple, it just covers the basics of everything you need to be able to cover, and you don't necessarily need to spend, a massive amount of time thinking of every single possible thing because it's only useful if you're going to enforce it. It's only useful if you're going to enforce it. So you've got to think to yourself, how are you, and how much are you going to enforce these things if they need to be able to come up? You can actually get a lot more buy-in just in your training and in your culture and in your initial setup of showing people what you do and having things set to a certain standard and having your operational structures set up that way. It doesn't all necessarily need to be, fully outlined in your particular franchise agreement. So just something to keep in mind. And I think then it's a lot simpler. And people, when they read it, they're not going to feel threatened by it and think, God, there's so much in here. This scares me. They're going to ping me on something for sure. Because I can tell you now that every single franchisee and licensee in Australia, every single one of them right now is either in breach of their agreement in one way or another, or has been in breach of their agreement in one way or another. All of them. So they're going to breach it anyway, accidentally most of the time, they don't even realise. And often you don't know either, but that's the reality of what happens. So keep that in mind, keep it simple, get a nice clean document to protect yourself so we all know what we're agreeing to, and then that way it probably is a little bit cheaper for you to set it up and a little bit quicker for you to set it up, and then from their point of view, they're going to be more comfortable with it also.